This is gonna be a problem. What the hell? Obviously easy fix because I haven't done anything super creative with the map yet. Might just restart the map if this is gonna be a problem. Yeah, I'll save it. Maybe I will put some thought into this right now. Yeah, just a working title, obviously. It's just a working title. Hmm. What's up, Cap? I am inspired by Top Thrill 2. I must make my version. Top Thrill 2 had the same effect on me Steel Vengeance did the first time, where it's like, whoa, wait a minute. So I'm doing my vision of a full circuit Top Thrill 2 style coaster mixed with Velocicoaster mixed with, what was the other one? You know, elements like you see on I guess Pantheon now. Kind of resetting my scale. I'm not going super nuts, still going nuts, but you know, 100 feet higher than the record now, I guess. About 600 feet. Yup, that's just how it always goes for me. It wasn't even just to visit the park, it was riding something that changed my perspective of what's possible. And I just love the idea of what I can do with an exploration coaster with things like Switch Track. And what that could mean for, you know, a ride that does the kind of things I like to do. It's gonna be One Piece themed. I know that for sure. That's exactly. But I gotta like reset the scale too though, because I don't know how big they're even gonna let you go in this game. And quite frankly, those like 1600 foot builds take eons to finish. So this might be like 700, 650, something like that, because like, it's just more feasible to build it in a reasonable amount of time. Although I say that, and it'll still end up being a 6-minute ride or some shit, because I'll just keep building elements I want to do. I'm also kind of having fun, like, seeing how big of a drop I can do in this tiny map. It's kind of a fun little mini challenge. This is the only map to get this perspective. It's like, Yeah, it's gonna suck, and I'm hoping they fix it one day. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna film a false station. So this whole station, I like to film my queues. When I'm filming them going into the queue, there's gonna be a fake ride that just looks exactly the same that I film as being an active station, and I'm gonna make basically all of this dark ride enough that I can hide it behind angles. So you won't really, because what I really care about is the video at the end of the day. Park, yeah, it's annoying. I really hope they fix it. But being able to capture it feeling authentically ridden in game is going to take some trickery on video. Like, I can do things like, let's say I film a compact version of it that is rideable, and it's just the indoor part of the launch, and I want to film a cinematic of it shooting this way. I just shoot the launch, basically, with people on it and stuff like that, and that's how I'm going to have to do this. And in some ways, I know that's going to make it, like, because that's part of the beauty when we do these games. Like, please fix it, Frontier. But one of the beauties of these games is doing the things that aren't supposed to work. That's part of the magic. Now I'm like, okay, how big can I make this? This is going to evolve into, like, max height, basically. Well, not max height, because I don't think I want to make the spike any taller. So not max height, because max height I'd have to make it 800 feet tall from the start, and then I don't know if I have the space. I'd have to drop from here. Well, let's see. I need a longer runway, way longer. That was only really true once in Planet Coaster 1, twice. It was true in Planet Coaster 1 twice. I built the biggest thing that had been done, but in terms of like, I'm gonna push the engine to as high as I can, I only did that twice. Infinite X, and then after the update to Egron XL. Those were max height, as big as the engine would let you go. Everything else was just, well, nobody's doing anything close to this, so I'll just inch my way up. I didn't even want to do the max height. I thought it was an idiotic idea. It was going to take too damn long and, like, consume my life. And I was right. I haven't. I mean, I've heard about that one, but I've heard you actually have to fill the park quite a bit to get to that point. Because I mean, I didn't finish it, but there's a lot of freaking pieces in that other park I was building, and it runs fine. So. What's the megabytes at? I have heard like 1,000,000 is like the hard limit in a lot of ways. People just can't get past 1,000,000, it crashes. For most people. I mean, I actually do have a decent idea of how I can build. It would just change the theme, really, if I had to pay attention to piece count. But I can actually work with it. And the big drops aren't actually a problem. If anything, they're kind of, I can kind of work with that. If I wanted to give off a more tangible vibe, I could easily make it just in nature, you know, most of it, and then the theming's at the end or whatever. But worst case, there's that other game that's developing, and if, when I do get around to trying that, if that gives me more freedom to do what I want to do, maybe I'll switch to that. We shall see. Or I'll just play more WoW. Yeah. Park Studio. I haven't seen Meta Parks. What I've heard from Park Studios is very... if I can create the visual fidelity I need, then the freedom of that engine, because apparently I asked the guy how high you can build, and he was like, I don't know, like he thinks it's in like 10,000 plus whatever, you know, beyond what I'd even attempt ever. And the maps are like idiotically large, like 10 of these maps. So it's like I can truly do whatever my imagination conjures up in that case. I mean, ultimately what will end up happening is if Planet Coaster 2 just cannot work for what I want to do, doesn't inspire me, I'll end up wanting to build roller coasters in something. So, one of those other games has a good chance of grabbing me. I know the Coaster Builder looks like more challenging to learn, but I feel like when I have a mastery of it, it's going to be far easier to build my kinds of rides with it. Because once I know how to do it, I can build a drop in 20 seconds versus this is going to take me hours and hours to get right. I wouldn't even have to think about it if I knew how to use that engine. Just being like, oh, I want a 1,500-foot drop here. Let's figure out the angle, blah, blah, blah. You know, I don't understand it right now, but once I learn it, and I can learn it, once I do learn it, it's going to be easier for, you know, idiotically large stuff. And I imagine more attainable on a mastery side to do some more elaborate things with elements that I don't even bother trying in Planet Coaster. Especially with compact stuff towards the end. This is going to take some major reconstruction, but okay. Let's do it. How fast can this go? Because that's how high this is going to be. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Like, I feel like building coasters is gonna feel a lot like No Limits, with a bit of Planet Coaster, and theming will feel like Planet Coaster with crazy, you know, abilities. Just the ability, the scale. Like, from what I've gathered, it really is kind of what I'm looking. If it looks good enough, and that I don't know. It looked promising. I can't really say for sure though. But like, it looks like if it's as good, if I can make it look as good as I think it could look, then what's possible with it is kind of nuts. I could definitely see that being like the next real step up for me in terms of like overall production quality, is just learning a tool like that and being able to take my coasters to a different kind of level. A little bit more experimental. But we got ways to go. Okay, almost there. Do I have... Yeah. That's kind of that untangible thing that I can't quite put my finger on, that, like, you know it when you see it. But it's like, it'd be really hard to quantify that magic ingredient. That's what disappointed me. I understand why they went in the direction, because I guess, because console. But it disappointed me that they scaled back on how big you could go, just because Frontier was the only game really doing that. And they kind of scaled back in a lot of ways in terms of what's possible. That's disappointing. Because I had a lot of faith in Frontier that it's a bit shaken now. I'll just say that. Not that I don't understand it, but it's still disappointing. Business-wise, I understand it. This is harder than I thought it was going to be. I really don't want to... I want to do an upward launch. I find them so cheesy. Well, I'll see if I have enough room to do it. Reasonable force up here. I don't think I'm going to, no. That's kind of my hope. And, you know, that would be another part of my drive to go make something in a park studio and be like, hey, look, Frontier, let me do this. This is what I'm trying to do. Like, let me do it. Let me cook, damn it. Let me cook. Okay, I guess I do have to do an upward launch. Damn it. If I really want to push the limits of the map, which I do. I mean, it does make sense for One Piece. I will say that. Doing this as a concept. Yes, it's always good. Especially in a, it's a creative game. Here we go. So upward launch. Didn't really plan on doing that, but whatever, it's necessary. Switch to G's. I actually have no idea how high I'm gonna have to go either. That's another mystery to me. And this is just the first frontal launch, so this isn't even... Oh, wait. I don't notice, I'm just gonna make it. See you later, man. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks. Alright, I think I'm gonna stop the stream here. Thanks for you guys.